Assalamu alaikum. Kayfa hal? Mahaba. That's the sentence. That is for my Turkish subscribers. I want to thank you for watching more of my channel. Turkey was actually one of the first countries that I got on a plane and flew to. So that's always a memorable trip for me. But the other thing is I love the people in Turkey. Not only the people, the food is good. It's just a beautiful place. Specifically Istanbul, Turkey. So I appreciate all my subscribers from there that are watching my videos from Turkey. Today, I am going over a sensitive topic. And what I want to say is, although I'm pretty sure you all see the title about red flags in women, but what I want us to do is remain respectful towards women. So I came up with this video because I noticed that there were a lot of men looking at the videos about my gold digger video, and they were looking at the videos, I guess, on like dating women and different things like that. So I got the most, feedback from that video looking at my analytics. So I chose to do something special for the men. Okay. Hello. For those that are watching my channel, I thank you for being here. I know it's a little bit late at night. I noticed that most of my subscribers, which is a good thing, not bad. I'm usually like a night owl anyway. I can't really sleep for more than about 3 hours at a time. What I noticed was that most of my subscribers are over in the far out east towards Asia. So I noticed that most of my subscribers are my number one subscribers are from Bangladesh. 2 is from India. Number 3 is Indonesia. So I wholeheartedly appreciate them for viewing my channel. I also would like to give a special shout out to my subscribers out in Algeria that have been watching my channel more. I hadn't had a lot of them watching before, but now I see that it's a lot of people from Algeria watching, and then eventually Senegal. So I wholeheartedly appreciate those that are watching my video, not just being subscribers, but also watching. And inshallah, hopefully soon I will be able to visit Algeria. So the other thing I wanted to mention was, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. So for those that are watching the videos, I appreciate my subscribers, but it would do me a huge favor if you all would dislike my videos when you're going through it, viewing them. It helps with engagement. Not only that, I am happy with how my channel is performing. And I appreciate those that have been liking or disliking the video and watching. And I will continue to deliver good value for you all. I would just ask that you dislike the video. I've got some people that dislike the video, dislike a couple of videos. Usually it's something about older men dating younger women, but that's okay, because I was like, I got an idea what that, who probably dislike that video. But just like I said, you will help me out if you like the videos and watch them. Let's see, what else do I have? I think that's all I have for that for the moment. So yeah, okay. But yeah, I noticed that more men were watching videos on women, and I was getting more views from those, and I was like, huh. So I was like, okay, well, let me do a video for them. So strangely enough, I had already came up with my script and what I wanted to talk about sometime about a week and a half ago. And strangely enough, there was a former NFL player that was in the news by the name of Shannon Sharp. And the thing was, he ran into some legal issues involving, he's 56 years old, and he ran into some legal issues talking to this 21-year-old woman that they had been in a relationship for about 2 years, and it was consensual. And eventually, now as you go through it, it's like, okay, it's kind of sketchy because this gentleman, he is, famous. We could say he's famous. He's a famous celebrity. And I don't get into people's business about how much money they make and whatever, because I'm always working on myself trying to be successful. So most people would say he's probably worth a few $1,000,000, right? And now that was supposed to sign a $100 million contract through, I don't know if it was through YouTube or whatever, some company or whatever. But anyways, now all of a sudden, the young girl that he used to date up until a couple months ago, so now she wants half of the money, right? And that's what some of you men, think about and want to say, okay, the woman is a gold digger and this, but I think the other thing is, these people, they were this couple, this couple, they were in a relationship for 2 years. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight looking at one of the attorney discussed it. So it's on one hand, you have it to where now this celebrity, now I believe some of the things he said he was true, and maybe some of the things that the lady said was true, but I think it may be in his favor, but I would say, for one, I don't like how people are putting him out in the media saying, oh, why is he 56-year-old dating this 20-year-old woman? Because on the other hand, if this was a 50-something-year-old woman dating a 20-something-year-old man, you would hit crickets. You wouldn't hear anything, but crickets. So either, you couldn't hear anything, right? And people would praise that. But since it's a man, and not just any man, but a successful man with money, then society tends to shame him for that, right? And so that's one part. Now, the other part, there were some things in respect to the young lady. She mentioned some sexual advances or something that she did not like in the relationship. And I would say, gentlemen, when dealing with a woman, when a woman says no, no means no. And even if you're in the intimate act and she says, stop, you ain't going to, you stop, So you respect women and care for them. Let's see. So The other thing I noticed was that about this situation, the gentleman, I want to say, like, none of us are perfect. But one thing that I noticed about the situation here, and so I had already did my script and everything for this video, but this was something added. I was like, okay, this is great. Let me go ahead and talk about it. So one thing I noticed is that I would consider this a red flag. I know none of us are perfect, but the young lady, the 20-year-old woman, she was doing OnlyFans. And if, I'm pretty sure you know that, but that's like a X-rated thing, you know, women going online showing their bodies. This is a thing to where we have more and more women in Western societies going online, you know, showing their body for money, right? And the other thing I noticed or read sometime, I think it was last week or so, I think it was last week or a week and a half, I noticed that Ukraine, since they were losing, I guess they needed help, and it seemed like maybe this was like, to me, it's like this was somebody does when you're desperate. So now Ukraine, they want to sign into law because they don't have OnlyFans, X-rated things for women to show their bodies, and now they're wanting to do that. And I was just like, that is almost like the lowest of the low, but it isn't written in stone yet, but they're trying because they're losing the war. And I'm thinking, like, I just wonder the thought process of some people. Okay, so this is the thing with Shannon Sharp, and just like I said, I know no one's perfect, and the young lady's doing OnlyFans and things like that. But I was just like, for me, and I know everybody's different, but for me, if you are a man that's worth X amount of dollars, and just like what I say with some of these celebrities and stars, I don't think some of them could have the women that they have if they didn't have money. I mean, I don't know them, but I'm just going to say that at least I know about a good 70-some% wouldn't have the money, the woman, a beautiful woman on their arm, if they didn't have the money. But my mindset and my thought process is, if you are a man with money and you're able to travel to different states in the US, or if you could travel out the country, for me, once I realized that I was traveling to these different countries and meeting all these beautiful, feminine, attractive women, then I realized I didn't put up with and just deal with this woman or tolerate some of the things that this woman would do. Or if a woman was doing OnlyFans, when you have other women out here that respects themselves and they respect you. And this is why even in a relationship, for me, I wouldn't tolerate that either, because I know that you can have a beautiful woman here, but there's so many beautiful women all over the world. So, and it's like one thing that I noticed, the same things that you would want out of this woman. Let's say this woman is feminine, submissive, she is willing to learn, let you lead, and brings you peace in life. There's 100 more all over the place that brings that same thing. So this is what I wanted to touch on, because I wouldn't tolerate certain things, and I would just get up and leave. I wouldn't be dealing with someone that just does OnlyFans. And one of the things I noticed, I went on Instagram to clean up my Instagram profile, and I don't think I posted any videos. I just clean up my profile, and I saw some attractive young ladies on there that I had liked or whatever, and in their DMs and whatnot. But I noticed that some of the young girls, and I hadn't been on there active since like 2020, 2021. But what I noticed was that some of these young lady that they appear creative. They would do like little videos, but um, they never were showing their body and different things like that. And I watch them. And then, just like I said, I noticed like a week and a half ago or so, it was between a week and a half or two, and I noticed when I went on Instagram that now I had a couple of these women, they already did like a 180, and now they're showing their bodies and things on it. So it's like more and more women are doing that, and I know these girls either from the U.S. or in the U.K. And I was like, I don't know where is this society headed, but one thing that I know, this world is held together by a good group of good people. This is I forgot his name, Baldwin. I think it's James Baldwin probably said something like that, to where this world, we deal with racism, prejudice, and different things like that. And this world is held together by a small group of loving people. But yeah, so I know it's different for Muslims when dating, but because the family is usually involved to appoint someone to date the other person. But I know that most Muslims today, a good group, are probably seeing other people without the parents' knowledge. But just like I've said in multiple other videos I've done, is to say that to make sure that eventually you let the parents know if you're interested in this person, and have them, set up to meet the parents or so. But anyways, let's dive deep into this. So I wasn't always good at selecting women. See, in my previous video, I talked about communication, paying attention to a person's body language, their actions, their facial gestures, well, not facial gestures, facial expression, and how if you're standing in front of a person, or if they have their arms crossed or looking down, the facial expression just, or if they keep turning their head, that just gives you cues that this person is ready to leave the conversation, not really interested in what you're talking about. Or imagine if you're a gentleman and you're sitting down with a young lady, and you notice that she's looking off, veering off, pulling out her phone, or she has her legs crossed. It's a sign of a person that's closed off, right? And you should pay attention to those, because it tells you something about that person's interest in you. And this is critical because I'm trying to make you all, men and women, communication experts. I think I'm good at it. So I could teach other people. But that's almost, I use that as one of those, that's a gift that I have, that I try I guess that's a gift and a part of psychology, or something that I try to, I wouldn't normally say anything, but this is probably one of those things to where I'm willing to share because I'm giving value. And just like I said, hopefully you all like my videos, you share my videos, don't just like share, dislike, comment. Those of you that are watching my videos, thank you to the small amount that have commented on my videos. So I wholeheartedly appreciate you all for that. I would like for everyone that is willing to drop your country inside the comment section for me and let us know where you're from. Okay, so give you an example, another example. If you're talking to a young lady on and you have her phone number, a few things that'll let you know if she's interested. Does she message you often? Does she call you often? Like maybe let's say she messages you or calls 3, 4, like you just met her 3, 4 days a week or more. When you send her a text message or WhatsApp her or whatever, does she reply instantly? And it doesn't have to be instant. It could be like maybe 30 minutes to an hour. She's already, replying to your messages. Does she want to see you often? Does she ask you when you're going to see her, when we're going to meet, when we're going to go out? That's a sign of a woman that is highly interested in you. And not one of those things to where you have a woman that is messaging you often, asking you for something, like asking you to do something for her, to, I don't know, give her money or come fix something or help her with something. Not that type of thing, because that's not something I guess we all have to be used in some type of way, but for that, no. No. Especially one thing I don't try to do is do things, well, I don't mind doing things for people in a way to where it's more like an act of charity, right? Or doing something that Allah wants me to do. But when, as far as dating, I don't do things for females that look at me as a friend. I don't call them often. I don't talk to them. I only would probably talk to women that are highly interested in me. And I want you all, gentlemen, to do the same to make your life easier, because one thing we know is that 51%, at least in the US, there's like 51% of people, 51 or either 49%, 49, either 51 or 49% of people aren't looking for relationships. But I imagine some of those same people, let's say there's a young lady and she wants to be single. I imagine that she still wants a male companion to go out on dates with, to go on shopping, because I've met some of these women. They don't want a relationship, but they still want a male companion to go out and date and do things with. And I'm just like, no, you need a boyfriend. So, like, I had one ask me, and this was funny, well, can you be my boyfriend for a week? I'm like, girl, you must be out your mind. But that was funny. But I tell you one thing I like, when a woman shows interest in you, high interest, as if she's obsessed. Man, that's a beautiful feeling. Because one thing it seems like with women that I like, women are different from men, because when a woman likes you, she just likes you. It's like she's not paying attention to any other guys. It's like they are invisible to her. All she sees is you. I give you a story. So I met this girl one day, and how I met her. So me and my brother used to live together. Me and one of my little brothers, we used to live together. And so he was having a little get together. Well, I don't think it was a get together. It was just something to where I was sleeping and I woke up and I went into the living room, and him and a couple of his friends were around the island in the kitchen, just sitting down having a conversation. So it was probably him and maybe one or two guys and two girls. And one of the girls was white and the other girl was Hawaiian. So I was like, man, so I was looking up, well, both of them were pretty girls. So after that day, I think a day or two passed, and the Hawaiian girl comes back to the house, and she was asking for my brother, and I was like, oh, okay. And so the girl, me and her start talking in the kitchen a couple days after my brother brought her over. So now I'm inside the kitchen and I start cooking me something to eat. So I'm cooking me something to eat, and then I go and I ask her if she's hungry, and I fix her a plate of food. And we had a nice little time, conversing with one another. And so next thing she left, went wherever she was going. A couple of days later, the girl knocks on the door again about the same time as she did the day before, a couple of days before, and she come looking for my brother again. So she say. So next thing you know, I'm in the kitchen cooking again, and the girl, I asked her, I said, hey, you want something to eat? You want to plate food? She ate, she liked it. Next thing you know, we go together. And it was strange because my brother, he really likes white girls. And I found out that the Hawaiian girl really liked him, and of course the Hawaiian girl was way more beautiful, I guess to most people, than the white girl, but he chose the white girl today. So that was funny because the Hawaiian girl actually won him, but then next thing you know, me and the Hawaiian girl ended up being together, and I was like, dang. Now, I probably would have still dated her. I was in one of those situations to where it was like I'm dating three women at the same time. And I remember I was like, man, this is funny because I had remember at one time taking two girls that liked me out to dinner, and they were confused. But I had to make a decision between three women, and I was a little thrown back as I found out a little later, being with the Hawaiian girl at the time. I think I was like, I was probably 25 or 26, and I found out she was 19. I was like, ah. And that was one of those things, but then I didn't know. But I said to myself, I was like, man, I messed that one up. I chose the wrong woman because as time I was like, dang, that's one mistake that I made that I hope that I never make again, because the Hawaiian girl, she was feminine, submissive, she was beautiful. She brought peace in my life. And I was like, dang, I messed that one up. Let's see, I don't know why I just think that's that. So I was like, man, I hope I don't make that mistake again, choosing the wrong woman. But today, I think I haven't spoken to her in a couple of years, probably 3 or 4 years, when I reached out to the Hawaiian girl. But eventually, when I reached out to her, we had a good conversation. We always had like a decent relationship when I would reach out to her, or so, and we have a good conversation. But I would believe 3 years ago, right, 3 years ago or something like that, maybe in 2021 or 22, I noticed that she was getting, I got engaged. And it was funny because I sent her a message asking her for a date. And she says, oh, I have a boyfriend. I said, he can come too. He just has to pay for his own meal. so she busts out laughing. So then that next day, the guy that she was dating proposed to her. I said, dang, look at that. That's crazy. Because she showed the photos online on Facebook like the next day. And I was like, dang. But yeah, so I was like, man, I messed that one up. I was like, if I had to think, but I don't know. For me, life is still great. I'm not worried at all. Life is still good. Yeah, so I hope I don't repeat the same mistakes. Inshallah. I want to give a few red flags to consider when selecting a woman and which you men should be cautious. Before I do that, I'm going to give you a red flag of mine, but it could be more like a preference. So let's say you're dating a woman and she has a dog or she smokes cigarettes or smoke whatever. I was going to be funny, but say she could be smoking crack. Who knows? But let's say she's smoking cigarettes or she has a dog and you know that you don't like women that smoke or have pets, a dog. And well, but this woman, she's feminine, she's submissive, she brings peace in your life, she listens to you, she lets you decide what's best for her. I know some women don't like that. This is the type of woman that will let you order her food, and she will let you decide what clothes she wears. This is an example of a woman that this is a sign of respect that a woman shows the man she would like to be with. And she craves masculinity, at least what I think. I think when you meet a woman and she gets to know you, and not even get to know you, even from the first time she meets you, it's like she's feminine, submissive. When you say, hey, let's go out, or let's go here, or when you ask her, where do you like to eat? Or what place do you want to go? What would you like to do? And she said, you can decide. Everything is you decide. I'll let you decide everything. And that's the type of woman that craves masculinity to me. So the other thing I want to say when mentioning, like I said a few minutes ago, is about the dog and the smoking is a red flag for me. But let's say the woman allows you to marry or have multiple women. I would think if you were a man, you're going to say, you're going to become friends with that dog, or you're going to let her smoke if she's going to let you have other women and take care of other women. Now, you Muslim men, it has to be equal. you know. Um, and out of respect for women, this is one of the things to where, um, even though a woman is feminine, submissive, and submissive just means cooperation with the man. Just like what I had to explain. One thing, back to the subject about some women that I noticed, it's when you say submissive, they look at it as a negative connotation. So it's best to use the word cooperation for some, but then even for the women that have to ask that question, I stay away from them. I don't think I've ever tried to push the envelope to say, hey, let's keep this conversation going. I was like, okay, I know this one's going to be a little difficult because she's asking me questions about what do you mean by submissive? So I just avoid it. Yep, moving along. Because the dog situation, it would be a tough situation for me because if I'm smelling nice with my wearing nice fragrance and having nice stuff, I don't want dog next to me, or if someone smoking could be next to you, like, I love turkey, but I tell you one thing, oh my gosh, so much smoking. Like, seem like everybody smokes. And someone could be sitting next to you for less than a minute, sitting or standing next to you for less than a minute. Now your clothes and everything is funky from those stink cigarettes. So I want you gentlemen, I, haven't really give you any major things yet, but some of the major things I wanted to point out. So I want you gentlemen to get your notebooks out. And as I said, those that are watching, please like, share the video, and subscribe. So, number one, bad hygiene. In Islam, cleanliness is half the faith. And one thing I would say when you guys are out with your woman, pay attention to her table etiquette and her mannerism at the dinner table, how she practices hand hygiene. Is she going to the restroom and washing her hands before she eats, and things like that. And the other thing is, let's say, even if you are Muslim or non-Muslim men and you are in a hotel with a woman or you're at the house together, if you and your woman, let's say it's 90 plus degrees outside, and it's 90 degrees outside, and you out for 4 or 5 hours all day hiking, going to amusement parks, or maybe at the beach, or you are going on a hike trail or something. So you're out there, you're sweating, you come back home, and the young lady says, hey, I need to take a shower. So you have one woman that would probably say, hey, let me go bath, take a shower. You have another woman that may just come in her house and just go straight to the refrigerator and then sit down on the couch or go into bed with the same dirty clothes that she came in. Same thing as men, but we're talking about women here. This is as far as cleanliness, right? And I'm mentioning this because if you have a woman like this, let's say she's unclean and you're out all day and the first thing she does is come sit on the couch or go lay down on the bed without showering. right? And let's say you're home with this woman, the same type of woman, if you look in her kitchen, is nasty. If you look and go in her bathroom, is nasty. Now, I know some women that, have so many cosmetics and stuff, like even when you see it online, you see all the cosmetic and whatever all over and feminine products all over the bathroom, stink and stuff and whatever. But if the woman has it a little bit cleaned up to it's not bad, she ain't got stuff on the floor and things everywhere, this is the type of woman that you want to avoid that's unclean. Now, I know there's some women, I would say one thing about women that I've been noticing is that most of them are followers. And I guess that this is why we have this thing to where men are the leaders and women followers, but I'm trying to think of it in a biological sense, because I would imagine even if the male species was going somewhere, the female will follow the male. But the other thing that I know is that women follow other women and what they do. So you'll probably just get a lot of them that will leave a bathroom with stuff all over the place. But even for me, if I was a woman, I'll try to organize and keep some stuff clean, and that would show her, no, when you finish whatever you're doing, you need to clean up. Make time to clean up behind yourself. Because I would say if you're clean over here, you're clean in your mindset, and you're clean other places and areas in life. But I don't want to keep going further. I'm pretty sure you all get the point. My other thing is not just cleanness there with bad hygiene. Let me say this before I move on. For body odor. Now, I would imagine the reason for most people in the body odor, imagine someone going to the bathroom and let's say they just, elimination, right? It could be mean you are peeing or pooping. But let's just say this person just went to the bathroom to pee. And you notice that there is a rank smell when the person leaves the bathroom. And now you're in the bathroom, you're like, ugh, this person smells funny. And now I'm inside this bathroom. Even when you go out to these restaurants and you go behind, you could tell the difference sometimes from someone clean and someone unclean sometimes when you go into these restrooms and these restaurants or where have you. And I would think for the most part, you could tell when someone isn't drinking enough water, because if someone was drinking alcohol or if they are drinking a lot of sweet drinks or like soda and juice and whatnot, it would appear rank. The urine, maybe they left urine inside the toilet, and if you see to where it's like dark yellow or whatever, or yellow period, you know that this person doesn't drink enough water. And your body is composed about almost 90% water. And if your body's composed of 90% water, I would say, I guess that's a good thing. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyways, your body's composed of 90% water. But I was saying is that you need water to help cleanse and I guess purify some of the toxins in your body, right? When your body is trying to eliminate that through stool, which is waste, and your urine. So I think that when people eat cleaner, healthier foods, not only would you have a good body odor, for me, I would like to say cleanliness is next to godliness. And this is why, like, even for me, like, my number one thing is when dating someone is hygiene and their habits to remain clean throughout the day. Just like for me, sometimes in the summertime, I'll take about, on average, probably about 3 showers, maybe 4, depends on how hot it is and how I'm going out throughout the day. But cleanliness is important. And so number one would have to be bad hygiene. So be mindful of a woman that has bad hygiene. Now, I would get that some women might watch this video too, so they probably don't want a guy with bad hygiene either. So number two, I'm taking this from Minister Farrakhan, Honorable Minister Farrakhan, says when a woman is wrapped in God, your future is secure as a man. I understand that none of us are perfect and we don't look down on people because most of us, we just continue to work on ourselves daily. You know, even for me, I try to live righteous and do good deeds and try to do the right things every day. But I can say that I am not perfect. But I remember it's already maybe like over 10 years ago. I remember I met this one young lady and and she said she was an atheist. You know, she didn't believe in God. Now, this one young lady, she's one of the most sweetest young ladies that I ever met. And she's very peaceful, calm. I never saw this young lady get out of character, never saw her angry, upset, always friendly, always smiling. But that was the only thing. So that was like one of the deciding factors to say, okay, well, this young lady, you know, she says that she's atheist. But I made the decision not to date the young lady, you know, but she's a sweet person. And I could even remember a couple of years ago, I bumped into her or asked her to take some photos for me because she's a photographer. But she's a sweet young lady. But that was a deciding factor for dating her. But I would say in this, you men don't have time to figure out women, or you gentlemen don't have time to figure out a Rubik's Cube. You know, you want a woman that is mentally stable and emotionally stable, or mentally fit, emotionally stable. Especially you men that are competitive, successful, or high achieving men. You know, if you're working towards success in your purpose, whatever that is in life, you don't have time to keep worrying about a woman that isn't working on herself. She isn't going to therapy, and she's not. She doesn't have a spiritual connection with Allah or God for non-Muslims. You want a woman that is obedient to Allah. You want women that will raise up your children to have proper morals, values, and be of good character. You want women that will raise up your children to become mentally fit and emotionally stable for what we're seeing in this society, inshallah. A woman performs her 5 daily salah, fasts for Ramadan. And I like this especially because fasting for Ramadan, it's not fasting is discipline, but when you have to go 30 days in performing these duties that are required for you as a Muslim, I would say you're able to give up sins and certain things that you know that you shouldn't be doing or is unjust. Want a woman that you don't have to mention it, but she goes to tearaway service and spends hours praying. Like even for me, like did tell you something. When this year in tearaway, when I kept going and when tearaway ended, I I don't know if it the last night of tearaway or was the day after or something. I was so sad that there was no more tearaway. I eventually was shedding a little bit of tears, crying because I was like, I miss tearaway. Going to the masjid and being able to pray with other men, and we're just on our knees praying, thanking Allah, and giving praise. There was a beautiful, beautiful thing. You want a woman that gets up early to pray to Hajj. And the reason why I'm listening stuff is because you don't want someone that is wrapped up in the things that we see in the Western world, like in the US, the UK, Latin America, Canada, for the most part. In Western societies, women are not dressing, they dress freely. Some of them, I think this comes from where, even when you watch movies, television series, you have music performers, women are exploited. They'll say a woman that is like one that I always think about is Jennifer Lopez. Beautiful woman, but always sexy, provocative, appealing, wearing things to where, okay, we men gonna look at that, right? We're men. And this is now you have women, not only that, but doing things like OnlyFans. And you have Peace Stars, you know what those are. So you want to try to avoid women that do these things as far as dressing, OnlyFans, ones that don't have a spiritual connection with God. It's normal for us men to be attracted to that, but what else is there? I remember a couple months ago, I was with a friend and his son. And the son was just smiling, laughing, like I'm over here. The son is smiling, laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing about? And I said, what's wrong with you? And he's jitty. And I said, the heck? So I was like, what's going to do? He said, oh, I was thinking about my trip. He said, man, I had a good time. And I said, yeah. He said, yeah, I had a good time in Brazil. He said, I'm ready to go back. I said, oh, yeah. I said, why? He said, yeah, beautiful women. I said, y'all got beautiful women here. So he said, no. They got real nice. I said, no. Y'all got real beautiful women here in your country. And he says, I said, you know what? I said, I know why you like the women in Brazil. I said, you like the women in Brazil because they ain't got no dang on clothes on. So he said, and I said, that's what it is. You want to go back to Brazil because, of course, he's in a Muslim country. So he's like, he wants to get back and go to Brazil because they ain't got no. I was like, and I think he's like 21 years old or so. But yeah, so that's what the conversation I had with him. Like I noticed some women in Europe and parts of Asia when I traveled there or in some of the Middle East, these women are covered. They dress conservatively or modestly, and I think it looks beautiful. You know, just like I mentioned a couple videos ago about the young lady, she was in a nice abaya and walking in the Dubai Mall, and I was like, dang. I said, boy, that one was nice. And I still have dreams about it because I was like, man, I should have went and said something, but I don't know what happened at the time, what I was thinking. Oh, you know what? I think after I left the counter because she was behind me, now I was just trying to check her out to see like her face and stuff up close before I went over and approached her. But I was like, man, just check her out a little bit more. But eventually, I think even that particular time, I think it was like almost probably like midnight with me leaving the Dubai Mall. Because even if I would go there, at least when I'm there, I at least go like maybe twice a week if I'm there to get my hair cut inside the Dubai Mall. Um, so one thing I noticed, even when talking about these women going online, showing their body and different things like that, one thing that I noticed that most Muslim women, they don't show their photos of themselves like that, or like traditional Muslim women, because you do have some out there that following what they see in Western society, but you do have a good group of Muslim women that, and most of the ones that I've met, that they don't show their face and they don't keep posting pictures up of themselves online or not even communication apps. So number 3, woman that you want to avoid, gentlemen, is a masculine woman. And this is important because it's a big no for me. They're not submissive. They're not agreeable. They are argumentative. They're opinionated. They will stress you out. They don't listen. And I would think if you allow something like that, you basically might as well be the woman in a relationship. If you're going to deal with a masculine woman, I don't even give them the time of day. Now I know sometimes, in respect, that's just a preference, a thing that I do. If I see the woman that's acting like a man, that want to be like a man, I don't mind saying, hey, how you doing? But to go back and forth to converse and think, I tend to just not even give them my energy. So, give you all an example. So, I was dating this young lady, and I would say she was borderline femininity. She had borderline femininity, is what I would call it. I'm like, man, this girl here is like, woman, is she sweet, soft, and thing. Next thing you know, she's so hard. That's the thing. But she's good. She's gorgeous. And I was like, okay, we got to figure out something. So, and when I talk about borderline, this is funny because I remember growing up in school, they would say the teachers would try to make you feel good. So the teachers would try to make you feel good or so. So they would, instead of saying that you failed, when your report card came out, instead of them saying that you would fail and just put an F on your report card, they would just put borderline instead of failing to make you feel good. So they just put borderline. So every time I said borderline, because I had a bunch of borderline on my report card growing up, and I was like, man, I'm right on the cusp. Kind of a feeling, probably have to go to summer school. But this young lady, I remember dating her. This is young lady model that I dated from Iran, and I noticed that I had to constantly check her. Like if she said something to me disrespectful or seemed like she was testing me, I would have to check her because I would think that maybe she thought that she got away with some things just because of she knew that she was beautiful and attractive, and men would just do whatever she wanted her. Uh, Men would just do whatever she wanted them to do. I remember one night, me and the young lady, we went out and we're sitting down, and I remember turning my head like this, and she said something. So this particular night, I think we were in Zarulu Center, the mall in Turkey, and man, that food was good in Turkey. So even the food in the mall is good in Turkey. You'd be surprised. It's like good food. And with Turkey, one thing about Turkey is like, see me talk about food, must be hungry. With Turkey, when it comes to eating a breakfast, it's the breakfast is like huge breakfast. Same thing for lunch, same thing for dinner. I'm like, oh my God, they just give you so much food. I mean, even for dinner, you would have like maybe 20 different, like, what do you got this thing? They have like I remember going out many times in Turkey. I've been there many times, like at least 5 or 6. And I noticed like for entrees, they might bring you 5 or more appetizers at the table first, not just one what we do here in the US. They bring you 5 or more appetizers, and then you have your entree, and then they'll bring out probably like 10 plus different dishes for the entree, and then for dinner, for dessert, you have your appetizer, your entree, and then you have dessert, and they bring like 4 or 5 more different desserts. And I'm like, damn. I remember I took this one girl out, and I was just like, okay, baby, just order whatever, because even just like I said, we respect women and treat them nice, right? So my thing is, I let women, as long as they're respectful, submissive towards me, we could do whatever you want to do. That's fine, baby. We could do that. That's fine. You can have that. That's fine. But when I say let's go, let's go. That's how I operate. Like we could do everything you want to do, but when I say let's go, let's go. So we're here at this nice restaurant. I can't remember the name of the restaurant. But anyways, we're at this nice restaurant, and I think it's stuck. It's the Katash. It's Bishiktash or something. Anyways, so we're at this nice restaurant in Turkey, and I let her order, and it was so much dishes. I was like, oh my god, I know this is going to be like a $400 or $500 bill. And come to find out, the bill was like $70 something. I was like, dang, all that food for this. But that's one thing. But anyways, so back to me and the Iranian girl. So we're out inside the Zarul Center, and we're eating uh, food inside the mall. Just like I said, the food is good. So I turn my head like this, and then I turn my head. She said something smart to me or something disrespectful, and I look back at her like this, and I said something to her, and then I did like this and turned my head. She said, "I love being a masculine man," and I was like, I said, you know what? In my head, I'm like, I got her now. I said, she's a woman that like to test and try people, try men to see what she get away with. I said, but I got her now. And because I just noticed that the young ladies just keep testing and saying things that come off a little disrespectful. And I said, you know what? This is the type of woman that goes on yachts. She gets other men to pay for her to travel to multiple countries. They buy her high-end luxury items. And I was just like, but I don't even think that, I don't think she was attracted to me that much. I think she liked me more just because of my intelligence. I remember when me and this young lady, we were, now we were in another, so when I noticed that she was liking me more, because she was like, what are you doing tomorrow? What do you like to do for fun? I was like, dang. I said, okay, so as long as I check her and I'm being myself, now she's more interested in me. But then I also noticed that this woman, she also liked my intelligence, because we're sitting down. So now on this other date we went on, now we're inside. So she went shopping inside the mall or whatever, and we're meeting. And I think we're now inside Merkez, the little small mall. I think it's in Shishli, inside Turkey, in Shishli. So I think it's Shishli. Yeah, I think it's in Shishli or something. Yeah, it should be close to Shishli or whatever. But anyway, is it Shishli? But anyway, we're at Merkez or something, the mall in Turkey, a little small one, right? So now we're there and we're eating, and we went to do something to, eat and then have dessert. So now I'm sitting down with her, and she tells me she don't let men touch her. And she's being smart and disrespectful. And I said something to her, and she's ready to go. She stands up and it's like, I'm ready to go, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sit down, have a seat. I said, let's finish eating. I said, don't be disrespectful. Sit down. Let's walk out together. I said, this doesn't even look right when other people could be watching us. Sit down, have a seat. She sat down and had to, sit down. And next thing you know, we was talking about something. And she looked at me and she said, if you want me, you will have to compete. And I say, so I'm right here, and I think I was eating a brownie, a blondie or something, and I'm eating because we were sharing the dessert. And so she was like, if you want me, you have to compete. And I looked at her and I said, what? I said, I'm the prize. I said, you have to compete. I said, I don't think you know how much women want me. So she said, how much women want you? I said, plenty. She's like, oh, you have that many women. So this was funny. So now we're walking out together, and the young lady, um, she about to leave and go inside the taxi, right, at the mall. So next thing you know, I did like this because I remember she said she don't let nobody hug her, and she's a Muslim woman, so it's like she don't let anybody hug her. So I did like this, and I opened up my arms and put my hand down. And she got back out the taxi so that she could come back and give me a hug. Man, next thing you know, homegirl gave me a hug. And the next thing you know, she went back to the car get in the taxi, and she was like somebody that was playing double dutch, to where she didn't know if she wanted to go back in the taxi and go home, or if she wanted to come back and give me a hug. And I said, oh, yes. I said, yeah. So now we went out another time, and now she's asking me, you smell very nice. Do you think my fragrance smells good? Do you like my fragrance? And I just thought that was something. I was like, yeah. I said, now she's very interested, but I was just like, this is a woman that you could tell she was feminine, but she came off masculine most of the time, asking for, we want men to like just jump and do things for her. And I'm just like, but I didn't cave in and let her get away with stuff. But she's a sweet girl, and she's one of the most, I think, out of women that I've met, she's got to be in like the top two that I met that are like brilliant, like so intelligent. I remember we went out somewhere and went to this amusement park in Dubai. And that's one thing I like about her too, is because if I told her to meet me in this country or this country or this country, she would just show up. And she would be at the restaurant or whatever, or at the hotel, whatever, before me. And I was like, dang, I said, I like this one. I was like, because you never really hear women being on time. But this girl would also be at the place before me. And I'm like, God, no. Same thing like I was mentioning earlier about the Hawaiian girl. One thing about when I say about having a woman that's obsessed with you is I remember me dating the Hawaiian girl, even though I was talking to like three women. And I know we Muslim men, we're not supposed to be talking about certain things, but I'm not talking about the intimacy part, because it's supposed to be a private matter. We as Muslims, we don't discuss the sexual intimacy and things with our partners and but I'm only teaching you and sharing some of the experience that's not so in that manner. But even with the Hawaiian girl, when I dated her, she would be at my house before I even got there. And there were sometimes I wouldn't even be home. And my brother would call me and says, hey, Lahana is here. So she's looking for you. I'm like, dang, I say, this girl is always at the dang house before me. Even if I was out and about, I'm like, she didn't even call me. She's just already, at me and my brother's place. And I was like, man. But yeah, so just like I said about I was talking about the Hawaiian girl. Now let's get back to the girl from Iran. So now, Muslim girl from Iran, one thing I noticed about her, she is one of the most intelligent, brilliant person that I've ever met. And I remember going to an amusement park in Dubai with her. What do you call it? Something World. I think, what is it? What is the name of that? Dubai has an amusement park out there, something World. I can't remember the name, but anyways, I almost fell asleep right there. Dubai has the name of a park called something World out there, and me and the Iranian chick, we went out there, and that girl was winning every game. I was like, wow, she was good at everything. She was good at the basketball. She was good at the little game where you have like the joystick with the three um, little arms or whatever that goes down, and or crane that go pick up stuff. It was like she would look at the side if you're facing the game or the system, she would go to the side of it, and she would just need someone to direct her to move the joystick on these games, and she was winning all the games. And I was like, dang, this girl we left with like the big teddy bears and stuff from I can't remember the name of that park. It's something World out there. It's like a big amusement park, indoor music park in Dubai. And the girl was winning all the games, and then we left with all these big stuffed animals and whatnot, and even some small ones. And I was like, why are you winning all these games and stuff, and then getting these big old stuff, and we ain't got no room to put these things. And so of course we get back in the taxi. So now we're in the taxi. It's me, her, and her sister. So now we're in the taxi, and she was like, I'm going to sell it. I'm like, dang, this girl's smart. And she said, I'm going to put it online and sell it. I was like, that girl's a hustler. But anyways, so that's another thing that I wanted to mention about masculine women, masculine and feminine. You don't want a masculine woman. But just like I said, you get some women that could be on the cusp of like borderline femininity, like the Iranian model that I was seeing. And she's sweet. I haven't talked to her in a while, but sweet girl. But I liked her a lot just because it's like, if I tell her, say, hey, meet me in this country, meet me here, meet me here, meet me here, she will show up. I'm like, man, I love that. But anyways, number four. So number four, use your judgment on this. And number four is age. Dating a woman, and just like I mentioned this thing earlier with Shannon Sharp, the football player, right, in the beginning of my broadcast and introduction, how he was dating this 56-year-old woman, but I mean, he's 56, but dating this 20-something-year-old woman, but now he's caught up in legal issues because now she's trying to sue him for some money, right? Now, you'll have some older woman that, oh, I look good in my 40s or 50s. Now, two women in particular that I think I would give a chance to in their 40s, because there are some good-looking women that in their 40s and their 50s that look nice that I would probably talk to, right? And two of them is what's that girl? Well, you know Michelle. Michelle always looked nice. She's the one who played New Jack City, the movie New Jack City. There's Selma Hayek. She played, what is that? I know everybody know her from Dusk Till Dawn, that movie. And and then you have, I don't know, I always liked the James Bond girl in Casino Royale. And there's a young lady, she used to be a host on 106 in Park, Jalisa Bermudez. Jalisa Bermudez. She's a very attractive young lady, and her face is so like clean, like she cares about her facial features, right? And cleanness of her face. And that's a beautiful woman. I think she's like 40, 41 years old. She's a beauty. But I would take them, well, I'll go in depth later about, yes, their age, but this is why they have some discernment. And it's okay to date an older woman, but there's some things you need to ask her and to think about for yourself. Um, Now, for me, what I've experienced, and when I went out with a few Muslim women that are in their 30s, um, I could say for the most part, most of them, their parents are traditional and strict. These ladies aren't out partying or drinking alcohol. My biggest concern would be the women's attitude. I've noticed women over 30, not just Muslim women, um, non-Muslim women, they are indecisive. You know, when you ask them, hey, let's do this. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hey, you want to go here to eat? Oh, I don't want to do that. Like, I remember going out with one a couple months ago, and we were supposed to be working on content. It was so hard choosing a restaurant at times because when I said, let's go here to this restaurant. No, I want to go here. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like the quality of the food. I'm like, you ain't the one paying for it. But I know I have to be respectful and nice to women. But she's supposed to help me out with my YouTube content, but that didn't go. But I was like, whatever. Anyways, so women over 30, it seems like they are at sometimes hard to open up um, and trust people. They've probably already experienced some relationship trauma or heartbreak. It's hard for them to, possibly hard for them to let a man lead a relationship. Um, these are some questions for women over 30 that you may want to, well, not may, you should ask them. You know, has she been married? Does she own her own home? Where's her father? Has she been divorced? Does she make her own money? And why I ask these questions, gentlemen, is because if you have a woman that can travel the world, she makes her own money, has her own house, she already has kids, all these things are like sometimes like the first experience. And if these women have these things, there's not much a man could do for these women. You have to be a man with a lot of sense to be able to stimulate this woman mentally, spiritually, and psychologically. You know, just like another thing is, like, I remember looking at this research paper or so years ago, and it was talking about how, like, if you took a 21-year-old man and a 21-year-old woman, the 21-year-old woman would be more mature than the 21-year-old man. But not only that, I noticed sometimes, even when dating, I've noticed that people can say what they want, but there's may not be so much in the Western society, but maybe in Europe, in parts of Asia, Asia, and maybe in Africa, there are a large portion of women that are in their 21 years old, 23, 26, that want to date and be with older men. But it's just that in the US, they shame men for doing that. And just like I said, especially if you make some money. But what it is, they are competing with those same women, and they I guess what is, they feel they subconsciously or consciously wish that someone that they would be attracted to them, that would be attracted to them, has money to experience these beauties in life with travel and spend money and whatever. So just like I said, gentlemen, in this category, when you select a woman, paying attention to the age, like just like I said, if I was to talk to the beautiful young lady Jaleesa Bermudez, I would, she's 40 or whatever woman that's 40, but particularly Jaleesa Bermudez, I was just like, that girl looked like she in her 20s. If you go Google her and look up her, Jaleesa, Jullisa, I believe, Bermudez, Bermudez. You go look this woman up and you see that she is very beautiful. But if I gave her a chance, right, I would also go back to the criteria as we as Muslim men are supposed to select women. Is she pious, religious? And even non-Muslim men, this could be important for you too. And I invite you all that are non-Muslims, especially if you're Christians, to maybe go through the Bible and read the Bible, but also be willing to learn and study the Quran without any prejudice. Because I just think it's funny sometimes how, like, this thing with Islam and this negative feeling towards Muslims was primarily back when the Twin Towers, when the Twin Tower attacks happened in New York. I forgot what they call that, but anyways, when the Twin Towers attack happened in New York, and eventually there were Muslims. They even had a bombing attack or so, marathon bombing a couple of years ago. So that even put more fear of something in people when they see Muslims. But Muslims are some of the most beautiful, kind people around the world, that they're very loving and helpful. Now, these Muslims were from a certain region or so in Saudi Arabia, but I saw a documentary that was saying that these Muslims, they were more aggressive. They were more aggressive, kind of more, I guess, I don't know, maybe liberal Muslim. They weren't Sunni Muslims. Because one thing in Islam that is one of the commandments is do not kill. Same thing as Christians, do not kill people. And the other thing is, we Muslims, we look at other Muslims, men or women, as being one, brothers and sisters. Same thing, like, I think it's funny to where we had the U.S. programming people about that's what it is, 9/11. And now you're asking the Saudi crown prince for $1 trillion. But you try to go over in the Gulf countries and damage these countries and bomb them and whatever. But I think the bombings and stuff is probably primarily because of oil. Now I'm getting on another topic. But just like I said, with Muslims, kind-spirited people, and the same thing goes for the families that are experiencing hardship with the recent attacks in Indonesia. And sometimes when I think about it, I wish that we all could come together. I've met beautiful, nice people from India here in the US. And when I'm out of town, I've met great Pakistani men, especially when I was in Dubai. I've met good Pakistani men in Dubai. I know another gentleman here, Muhammad, Pakistani, here in the U.S., Muslim man. So um, we don't condone violence, and we don't kill other people as Muslims. Um, so, giving my condolences to the families that are affected, um, that lost a loved one in Kashmir, or how you say it, Palaham, Palajam, Gam, uh, Kashmir. Um, but as I said, gentlemen, when choosing a woman dealing with the age, um, make sure you pick a woman that is pious, religious, that she is intelligent, and she has wealth, and she has to be beautiful. It's like I remember messing around with a friend one day at work years ago, and I showed her some of the young ladies that I was talking to. She was like, Ellie, I tell you one thing. She was like, whatever woman you date, got to be beautiful. Got to be beautiful. And I said, got that right. But not only that, if you're picking a woman like this, not only the four criteria, and she's 40, also, even if they're younger than 40, make sure that she is submissive, and she brings peace into your life. So when I look at that, is I am caring and kind and loving towards any woman that I am out with, doing things with. And one thing I look for is submissiveness, cooperativeness. So when we're out and about, we could do what you like, we can have fun, but when I say it's time to go, it's time to go. When I say I don't like that, we don't need that, put that back, that's what I mean. uh, and just like I said, the major thing is making sure she brings peace into your life. Just try to focus on those major 4 points that I mentioned, because we men are simple. I noticed that some women, when I was looking at YouTube, they'll like put a whole list of expectations. So they got a whole list of expectations. They got a whole list of red flags. But what I notice about women when they got these red flags and let's say a red flag about a man, or things that they don't like, and they're like, oh, I don't want him to do this. I don't want him to cheat. That's usually like the number one thing. Oh, I don't want a man to cheat. And I was like, that's not in a man's nature to be monogamous. You can get that out your head, because even married men go do things, But I'm like, it's not in a man's nature to be monogamous to just one woman. And just like I said, these women come up with these red flags and, these preferences and things like that. I'm like, for the right man, you do what he likes. Because I've met many women that say, oh, I don't want this, or I don't like this, or I don't want the man to do that. But when you take these women out and you show them a good time, and you give them some good experience and great memories, it's like they'll concede to wanting to just get along and do things of what the man might like, but not what the man might like. They get along and they do things, let the man do what he wants, as long as they kind of get the things that they want in the relationship. So when a woman says certain things, oh, I don't want a man to do this. I don't want him he got to be 6 feet tall. He's got to have this much a thing, or I got to do this. And I just ignore them. That's truly honest. I just ignore them. I'm just like, when they say that, it just goes out the other. I don't even pay attention to that, because I'm just like, if you like me, if I think like this, if they're spending time with me and they like the experience, I'll know if they ask me, hey, what, so are you free? What are you doing next week? I'm like, all right, got him. Got him. Anyways, so just focus on those. Don't let them shake you down, because if you allow that, now you become the woman in a relationship. I'm glad I was actually sleeping uh, when doing this video, but I'm glad that I did. I had an amazing day. I said it was so busy, and it was so busy on Sunday. I had a rude guest, unpleasant guest on Sunday that I had to deal with, and I was only running off of 2 hours of sleep, and I normally do my videos on Sundays, um, Sunday nights, and just like I said, I noticed that most of my subscribers, um, when when I'm doing these videos at 11, 12 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock a.m. on the East Coast, far out towards Asia, where most of my subscribers are watching my channel. I'm like, man, I need to either move towards Dubai or Abu Dhabi. I think I would prefer Abu Dhabi better, but I need to move out further to Abu Dhabi or somewhere in Europe or something, or near or something. Then I could do my videos in the morning, versus at night. But I was only running off the 2 hours of sleep, so I set my alarm clock for doing my video at well, I was supposed to get up and get my things together because I was going to do the video at 11:30, so I was setting it up to do it at 10 p.m. So I was like, okay, let me get a 2-hour nap, and I missed and set the alarm for 10 a.m. So that's how I got behind time. And by the time I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I only got like 30 minutes. I was like, this is not going to work. So I had to reschedule the video for today. But one thing that I would always keep in mind when dealing with women, you have to remember that they're human beings. I tend to think sometimes dealing with a woman, I think about certain species to where the female creature eats the male. Like you have a praying mantis will eat the male. You have the black widow spider that will eat the male. You have a cricket that will, of all things, a cricket. I don't know what the queen bee does, but the queen bee does something. But you have a cricket. You also have a female scorpion that will eat the male species. I also watched on PBS sometime last year. I saw that the female octopus was, I saw a male and a female octopus. This is the male, and I saw the female octopus, and the female octopus was bigger than the male, and the male was hesitant, and it's almost like he's trying to trying to seduce her to like mate with him, right? And probably throwing off some type of scent. And it was almost like he's hesitant, because she's larger than him. And they start mating. And next thing you know, they mate, and she ate him. And I was like, dang. I was like, okay, they had sex, and then she ate him. And I was like, God, no. So, well, I say, gentlemen, don't think for 1 minute that that couldn't be you, that male octopus, to where you let that woman eat you. So this is the thing that y'all need to understand when dealing with women, that they're not sugar, spice, and everything nice the way you think. Now, women are beautiful, nice, appealing, and we're attracted to the feminine species, to the body. But be mindful because they're human. And the more you understand a little bit more about biology and how things work, and then you put these stuff together like biology and I'm trying to understand it, and then you're like, ah. So next thing you know, you see a woman, instead of being so, oh, hey, how you doing? Now you can say, how you doing? But yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I had a good time going over this content. I said it was nice. But anyways, I'm glad that it's always surprising when I do these videos how things tend to work and come together, and I end up getting so much different resources. And most times I'm like, when I'm doing these videos, I'm actually scared, to like how I'm going to perform, because I'm more of a perfectionist. So everything has to be perfect, just like for me doing, my content, making sure that I have some type of flow when going through my content, like the script. And most of the stuff, like even in my notes, I just have like little points to say ad lib or make bullet points to where I just think about these things and just could talk about it in flow. But at least I have my notes now and could go through it, because before, I remember when I first started these videos, I was actually, just freestyling at one point, but then someone was like, maybe you should get something to do notes. And I was like, okay, now I'm making sure that it flows better, making sure that I have, a good, decent topic, making sure my background is nice, the camera, or make sure the quality is nice, make sure, I have good sound. Hopefully I got good sound. I don't know. I haven't heard any bad comments or criticism lately about the mic, so I hope the mic is better, because I did get a different microphone. But yeah, and of course I'm always going to dress up nice. Mashallah. But thank you all for watching my videos. Just like I said, make sure you all are liking, sharing the video, dislike, sharing, doesn't matter. I appreciate those that have taken the time to watch my videos. I hope I'm leaving some value for you all. Thank you. And I will continue to come up with some good topics. I also want you all to, let's see, it'd be easier if I do this. At the bottom, there is my email. So if anyone has any specific relationship questions you would like to ask, or we could talk about things about the economy or politics, but I want to put that back in the sense where we're talking about relationships too, right? I don't mind talking about politics, but we could talk about it briefly in the context of relationships. How it affects, how the economy or something may affect dating, like maybe going out. Like I heard something recently that more men are want women, even in the Muslim community, to go 50-50 going out to date. But Muslim women aren't liking that too, so that would be a fun topic. So I might, come up with something with that. But if anyone has any questions or criticism or feedback, please email me right here. And I will respond back within 48 hours, inshallah. So I thank you all for watching. Shukran jazilan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ah.